trauma and the patriarchy. Welcome. This video is for you if you are thinking about embarking on a healing journey of any sort, if you are already on one, and maybe of interest if you are a trauma-informed practitioner or a trauma practitioner looking to add some texture or some contrast to your own point of view on this, and you're really wholly welcome to move with that however you choose. So why talk of releasing trauma and releasing emotions related to trauma, which is something I see quite a bit of, is not only problematic for the healing journey, but it can also enforce a patriarchal kind of view or a patriarchal society, is something that I wish to address. And this is my point of view as a somatic therapist and also a teacher to other somatic therapists. And first of all, I really want to frame this video very carefully by saying, if you've ever used that language, if you've ever been attracted to that language, there is zero shame in that. Who doesn't want to release or kind of get rid of something that can feel painful? Like, I really get that. Probably been really attracted to language like that in the past myself. It's wholly understandable, and in fact, in small doses, I think it can be useful or guide us towards the journey. But it's a little bit more nuanced, particularly if we continue to use that language. So there's zero shame. It is the framing that I really want to land before I move into this subject more. So first of all, let's have a look at what actually happens just in broad brush perspective when we turn towards previously unresolved trauma. Now, unresolved trauma is effectively what the body hasn't had chance to deal with at the original point of trauma. So it's mainly been, the body's way of moving through this has maybe been suppressed because of some kind of immobilization, like a freeze response, or something else that has not enabled, maybe the right resources haven't been in place, something that hasn't enabled the body to work through what it knows how to do in this process at the point of the original trauma. There is a process that the body knows how to do, but it may be that it hasn't had that space to work through, or it's just been too big to do at the time. So actually what we're not doing is we're not kind of pushing it away and releasing. We're providing space and the opportunity for the body to meet that. And the language that I prefer to use now is to metabolize what has previously not been metabolized. And I quite like that language because it is a little bit like the metabolization process in the body. And what we do is we in small morsels move towards this and allow the body to be with that and to meet it and to digest, and then to work through and very gently meet all the emotions also associated with it. So that's the language that I prefer for those reasons. And why do I think that can be problematic? Well, one, from a healing journey perspective, as I say, in small doses it can help people walk towards, and I think that can be useful, but perpetuated, it kind of doesn't allow that softness of being able to meet and to fully work with unresolved trauma. And from a patriarchal perspective, well, if we look at a patriarchal society that we're in, we are in a hyper masculine, and I don't mean masculine gender, actually I mean hyperlinear or hyper yang. So let's maybe use those words. And this hyperlinear and this hyper yang doesn't have time for anything with any nuance, any softness. It is completely logical, always kind of pushing forward, and it doesn't allow for the kind of space that one needs and the kind of emotional depth maybe that one needs to turn towards previously unresolved trauma. Actually, what we need in that space is a really non-linear approach, and one that doesn't see emotions as messy, and one that doesn't see emotions and the human experience as something that is problematic because it's non-linear. Actually, what we need is the exact opposite of that. We need this non-linear, we need this very yin space to give that give the space for the body's ecosystem to be with what it needs to be with. So this is why I think it's problematic. It can kind of really reinforce this notion that emotions are really hugely problematic and messy. And I think there's a very nuanced and a completely different way to approach that, both from an individual healing journey perspective and from a society. So I hope that has provided just a little bit of a point of view on that.